People see return, they don't see risk. There are situations when a rating slips for a brief period of time and then the fund bounces back. So normally people look at the star rating and invest, but that is not the great way to start.
Hello and welcome to Investors Hangout, your weekly guide to making smarter investment decisions. This series is brought to you by Aditya Birla Sun Life Mutual Fund and Value Research. Now, one fine weekend, you open your investment app and you see that a fund that was 5-star last month has now dropped to 3-star. And your stomach drops, you think something must have gone wrong, so should you exit? Well, that's exactly what we're here to discuss today with Dhirendra Kumar. We'll discuss a clear framework for exactly this situation. Welcome, Dhirendra.
Thank you.
Let's begin with, if a fund drops from 5-star to 3-star, what does it actually mean?
It means that other funds in the category are doing better on a risk-adjusted basis, or this fund has slipped on risk-adjusted performance. Now, what is risk-adjusted performance and where was the need to devise a mechanism of risk-adjusted performance? Because people see return, they don't see risk. And risk visits you once in a while. And it is very important to capture because most of the time we look at returns. There was a need to devise a methodology whereby we are able to capture something that how badly can this fund fall. And this was how often it falls relative to other funds of similar kind. And this is what my rating captures. Value research rating started in 1993. It was not needed then because there were only closed-end funds. But we devised it and it has undergone many refinements, all kind of changes that the modern mutual fund industry has undergone in the last 33 years now. So what has happened in this course of time is we went about creating the classification system. That has now become the industry standard. That is what has been adopted substantially by SEBI. This is primarily an indicator that relative to other funds in the same category, how does this fund stacks up? Not just on return, but also based on how freely it falls relative to others. Right. So if there is a fund which goes from 10 to 20 rupees in 3 years' time, but one fund which goes up and down more often as compared to other one which goes up and down half as much. There is a likelihood that this fund will be a 5-star and the other one could be a 2-star fund.
Right. But what happens is that when most investors see that their fund has been downgraded, they want to exit. Is that the right decision?
Not really. These ratings can change also because one fund had a few months of very bad performance. And bad performance relative to other funds and also relative to market. So that can be one of the reasons, and that could be a temporary reason. So there are situations when a rating slips for a brief period of time, and then the fund bounces back. So don't give up on your fund if you have chosen carefully, just because for a few months it slipped on a rating. A slip from 5-star to 3-star is very unusual. A 4-star to 2-star is very unusual. There will rarely be because this rating methodology is moving on a rolling basis. So you are looking at the past 36 months or past 60 months. And previous 5 years ago, the first month moves out and then this month adds on a rolling basis. So what happens is there is unlikely to be a substantial dramatic change unless that the month which is moving out, that turns out to be an unusual month, or the month coming in is an unusual month for the fund. So if you have unusual 2-3 months which is getting out of the fund framework, or 2-3 months which is getting into the life of the fund framework in the rating scope, that can have an impact, but it is unlikely. The way I use it and the way I would recommend or urge investors to use it is that don't give up on a fund if the rating changes in few months' time. Also, value research rating is leading the pack. We were the oldest and every fintech is using it. So normally people look at the star rating and invest. But that is not the great way to start. The great way to start is it the right category? Then comes rating. You have chosen to invest in large cap fund or you have chosen to invest in multi-cap fund and then you go about choosing. So rating is not helping you in choosing which category to have. You can choose the finest of fund in any category and it may be very inappropriate thing. So one is what to have. Second is use it for elimination. I think a 1-star, 2-star fund is a relatively avoidable. It narrows your choice. Use it for elimination. Then comes How to use these ratings for ongoing monitoring? I would say it helps you being alert, but don't act in a hush. Don't act in a hurry. And there is a cost of acting in a hurry.
So if I am not supposed to act in a hurry, I must know why the rating downgrade has happened. So how do I find that out?
You will get reasonable sense in the numbers itself, because finally it is risk adjusted performance. There is a measure of risk which you may not be knowing, but it is available on Value Research online in the risk score and the risk grade, whether it is very high, very low. So it's normally a combination of risk and return. And risk return, you know very well. In the last 5 years, you have all kind of performance numbers which is available and updated every day on Value Research online. I think a rating change should prompt you to delve deeper. And delving deeper means, is the fund doing substantially poorer, worse off? Other funds are much better than this one over this period. And it is normally 3 or 5 year period.
Now, most investors, what they look at while judging their fund is XIRR. Is that reliable enough, the only metric that one should rely on?
No, we have done a full program, Investor Hangout session on which returns to use for what. But real thing is, different returns have different utility. They cannot be used interchangeably. XIRR is most appropriate when you are investing over time in whatever fashion. You invested 5,000 rupees 10 years ago. Nowadays, you invest 25,000 rupees every month. In between, you took some money out. So here is the cash flow. It is an uneven investment. First 3 years you were doing 5,000. Next couple of years you are doing 10,000, and now you are doing 25,000. Different money has been at work at different point of time, and that scale of money which was invested initially, it accumulated, and that money is also at work. So to understand that what your real return is, you need to do a time and amount adjusted return of calculate that return. When it comes to choosing a fund, and choosing a fund requires comparison. There is no cash flow involved here. You should just look at rolling return and trailing return to understand that which funds are doing well. Which funds are doing well, or which funds are likely, which funds have generally done better over a certain time period, that is better reflected in rolling return. That is all there to it. So XIRR is for your own cash flow, in your own SIP. So when you set up your portfolio on Value Research online, where you have invested different amount of time, which is lying or has remained invested over different period of time, that is XIRR.
Right. Now, finally, how does one make the final call? What should be done if the fund has been downgraded?
I would look at it like this. 5-star and 4-star fund, 5 becoming 4, 4 becoming 5, I won't even bother. 4 becoming 3, I will go and look at the portfolio and relative performance. If the relative performance is not very shaky, I won't bother. 3 to 2, I will get alarmed, because that is definitely a fund falling into the bottom 1/3, and it must be for a reason. And if it has steadily declined from 5 to 4 to 3, it is a cause of alarm, and I will look more into it, deeper into it. Look for the same 2 reasons. And 1 star, I'll give up. The reason why investors should not rush to redeem their investments in a hurry, that you have made your investments over a period of time, it has accumulated, it has grown, and it is doing relatively poor compared to others. That may not be the only reason to sell. There is a possibility that you will be sitting on huge gains, and every time you sell, all your gains will get reduced by 12.5% or 20%, depending on the time period you are holding, or the money which has been recently invested. So there is a cost to be paid. Be careful about it. Don't rush to redeem just based on rating. Look at these. And it will also require negotiating your redemption. Assuming that a fund has become a 1-star fund and you have decided to sell, you have decided to exit. And at the same time, this money is needed, or there is your own cash flow situation which requires it to be that you needed this money, by all means take it out.
So rating downgrade is a signal to investigate, not to act in a hurry. Well, that's all we have for you in this episode. Keep watching the space for more information. Take care. Bye for now.